Hey guys, it's Saint Solo. I think we're going to check out a little bit more of the Celestial Navigator. And I don't know what all we'll get to, but I know I want to start out with character creation. We'll probably get our first mission, weapons, gear, that sort of thing. Cover the usage die. But let's jump into it. So, of course, I made a small version here so that you can see. But you have combat, stealth, focus, presence, persuasion, knowledge, agility, constitution, perception, piloting, diplomacy, survival, and science. And a couple other things there. This is a previous character I had, just on like a quick reference, little card I made. Yeah, he has his gear that he was using at the time. His EVA suit, personal recon drone, his blaster, the TMSD. It's a thermal material separation device. His respirator and his translator. I apologize for my handwriting. It is really trash. But every time you end up using gear, you would roll a usage die. And that goes from 20 to a 10 to an 8 to a 6. And the way that this works is whenever you roll a 1 or a 2 on either of the die, you go down to the next smaller size to symbolize the degradation of your gear. You do the same thing with ammo and oxygen and fuel. Hey, kitty. Anyway. So yeah, let's go ahead and set up the scores for the attributes. Alright, so you have 4 5s. So let's see this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll just mark them off as I go. You have 4 4s. 3 3s. It should be easy to remember, but that's not how I work. And 2 2s. Alright. So I think we're definitely going to throw a 5 in combat. Nobody wants to die in combat, so he gets a 5. And then so 5 in combat. Probably a 5 in his constitution. And let's do a 5 in piloting. Now, as I said before, these can go up again based off your background that you pick. But this is the character sheet as is. So we put the 5 in combat, the 5 in constitution, and the 5 in piloting. I think we will put a 4 in stealth, knowledge, and persuasion. And we have one more to go. Let's put that in survival. So that is all of these. Nope, we still got one more 5. 1, 2, 3. Let's put it in agility. So he's a pretty physical individual. Alright. Next. So that's all the 4s. 3s. Maybe he has a hard time paying attention. The lack of oxygen, space, and whatnot. We know He's going to need it in science, so let's throw another 3. Diplomacy. Gives that a 3 as well. So there's his 3 3s. And his presence. He's not very intimidating looking, anyway. Maybe they don't know any better. And then another 2 in his perception. So he's just not very observant. That's okay. You don't have to be when you have Fist of Steel or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, so those will be his attributes or skills. For me, because it just is. I mean, I'm sure people don't like that. I'm sure it's taboo, but it's not a holy subject for me. These are the things that you use. These are the numbers that they have. So, not sponsored. Anyway. Okay, so now let's see what else. So those are his attributes. What is his... This may be a long video. You don't have to stay through it all. I apologize. I did not consider how long this might actually be. But I would like you to stay. We're going to check out character background and life events. I believe this is the current one. I don't think this is the one that was altered. Alright, yeah. So, this is important, as I said in the last video, to be able to reflect on, to see what the character is like. The question is, what type of upbringing did you have? And that is a D10. Let's roll for it. What type of upbringing did he have? 2. Grew up on a remote frontier planet. Alright. Drop my pencil. I probably won't be able to stay in view. Alright. Remote frontier planet. Frontier planet. So, probably pretty rugged type of individual. Well, that's certainly what his stats would suggest. Let's see, what's the next one? What was your favorite way to pass the time as a child? Reading books and coloring? Trading stories with travelers and merchants. So, as people traveled through his little frontier area, I mean, it's probably exciting to see him. You're out in the middle of nowhere and you got these cool people coming through that have had these experiences, and as a little kid you're gonna be excited to see what they had going on. I apologize for the sounds in the background. It's my monster of a cat. So, what was it? It was trading stories with travelers and merchants. Travelers and merchants. Okay. What kind of education or training did you receive? I'll read these. That way you have an idea. Formal education in a prestigious academy. That's a little loud. formal education in a prestigious academy, or high schooled by a knowledgeable mentor, learned on the job in the family trade, trained in military or combat skills, self-taught through experience and necessity, which I think would probably be the most likely, considering he's raised out on the frontier. You probably learn as you go, and if you don't, you would die. Educated by a traveling teacher or tutor, receive sporadic schooling due to frequent moves, trained in survival and frontier skills, educated through religious or ideological teachings, or learned primarily from ship, computer, or AI. Let's roll for it. Hopefully it'll make sense. 1. Formal education in a prestigious academy. That's odd considering remote frontier planet. Well, I mean, nothing says that they're country bumpkins. Just because they're out on a frontier planet, they could be colonizing and bringing their culture and things to that location. So, yeah, formal education in a prestigious academy. Maybe we will alter that to a formal education with a prestigious professor, or a professor of a prestigious academy. Tutored by professor. Okay, and what is the next one? How did you spend your early teen years? 3. Exploring nature and hiking in a terraformed area, or in terraformed areas, plural. All right, so he'd go out adventuring. That could be the hands-on training with his professor. I wonder what their occupation was. What is it that they did to be so prestigious, I wonder. Alright, so exploring nature and hiking in terraformed areas. I'm gonna say exploring nature. And hiking. Terraformed areas with professor. Let's see what this professor's name is real quick. Uh-huh. Naming things in space. It's a working title. Okay. So the way that is done, it is a D100 roll. Let's see. $33. Where is it? Kalor. 38. Kalor. Soren. Kalor Soren. Nice. Yeah. All right. So Kalor Soren. That's gonna be hard to remember. I'll make a note. Kaelor. Not Sauron. Soren. Sorin. Professor Soren. Or Professor Kalor. Depending on how close you are. Who knows? I mean, we're going hiking. I'm pretty sure we probably built up a rapport at that point. Especially if he's like a personal tutor and I'm his only student. Probably his best student. Okay, where were we? I got distracted. That was 4. Alright, so 5. What was your family's social status? This should be interesting considering we already know that they seem to be relatively wealthy. Well, who's to say that the professor was on the right side of the law? He could just be in cahoots with us and happen to be a professor. 9. Controversial and infamous. Involved in political upheaval. That sounds like drama. Oh boy. Controversial and infamous. Involved in political upheaval. I wonder what the controversy was, other than the political upheaval. Let's check that out. Controversial and infamous. Okay. What was your first job? 3. Assisting in a local shop with a habitat dome. Yeah. Probably going out, gathering resources or harvestables, things for materials. Who knows, really? I mean, assisting in a local shop with the habitat dome. He could also just be like a shopkeep, pushing a broom. That's what his first job was. So maybe he knows a thing or two about commerce from that, if he was paying attention. Do we think he was? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. He was. 4, 5, 6. He was thinking about other things. 2. Alright, so he was paying attention. He probably gathered some knowledge along the way about transactions and maybe sleight of hand. And we still don't know a lot about the family. But we do know they're controversial. But maybe for the good. We'll have to see. Assisting in a local shop. Okay, 7. 7 is, how did you spend your teenage years? 1. Studying hard to get into a good space academy. Maybe his goal was to be a learned man. Is that a word? Learned? Learned? Probably not. I want to find out more about that. Studying hard to get into a good space academy. Alright. So he had his nose to the grindstone. He kept his head in the books. That explains why he was paying attention and not daydreaming at work. Alright. What was a significant teenage accomplishment? 2. Leading a successful team effort in a colony project. He was leading a successful team effort in a colony project. Let's get some more information on that real quick. You know, whenever you put tabs on your pages so that they're easily accessible and easy to find, make sure that you write decent. Otherwise, now you're just looking through another thing. I know for a fact they're in the back. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's get some more information on the particular project. What was it? We have a 12. Begin. Well, that's a good start. That's like at the beginning. 86. Begin supply. Seven. Begin supply atmosphere 37. Begin to supply atmosphere. Ensnaring. So they had to catch something to supply atmosphere. And he, let me write it down. Begin supply atmosphere. I lost it. It's another bad thing. Putting these on your work, and then having any sort of overhead light. It's killer glare, man. It's not I mean, it'll keep the page good, but it's not all it's cracked up to be. Yeah, ensnaring, that was right. So begin supply. I'm going to say begin to supply the atmosphere by ensnaring. So they have to trap something in order to enhance the atmosphere. Maybe, I would think plants. Plants. Just so happens I have that table to see what the plant was that assists them in the atmosphere. Alright, so that's what he did. Trapping plants. Trapping plant life. To promote atmosphere. Stable atmosphere. Sweet. So to support a stable atmosphere. I don't know what to do with this dead air time when I'm writing. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think that could be really cool. That's where my flora creation table is going to come in handy. So I'll see if I can show you that clearly enough. So with this, you have the size of the plant. I can't read backwards. The aggression of the plant, its growth pattern, its habits or habitats. It looks like the species, whatever. Can't read it like that. Species, properties, and the reproduction, the defense mechanisms, interactions with fauna, and its feeding habits. You know what, Charles, you could have just turned the phone around. I think that's what I'll do. That's what I did. I'm still learning. Anyway. Yep, so you have this. Let's see what type of plant it was that they had to wrangle, if you will. Alright, what was the size? 8. Colossal. And its appearance? 5. Covered in hair or fur? I would think probably some sort of fibers. The growth pattern. 1. Solitary. So they are not, in fact, a large forest, just forest-sized, because they are solitary. That might make them difficult to find, I would think. Alright, and its habitat. Where do they find them? 2 shaded areas. Okay. And let's see, species. 4. Hallucinogenic. Well, that's always fun. HALLUCINOGENIC. Causes hallucinations. It's reproduction. These are cool. 2. Spores. The plant releases spores that grow into new plants under suitable conditions. Alright, its defense mechanism. How does it stop you from taking it? Wow, we're rolling a lot of those. 2. Poisonous sap. I can spell. And interaction with fauna. 1. Provide shelter. What does it eat? Feeding habits. 3. Parasitic. Feeds on other living plants. Ew. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah. Or does it only feed on plants? It does say parasitic. And I'll be damned, it's my game. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. It could be what happened to his parents. We don't know. We don't know if they're alive. They could have been parasiticated. Alright. So there is that. So we know that trapping plant life to support a stable atmosphere. What about these plants enhance the atmosphere? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out later. Definitely keep that. This is done. This is, it could be interesting. If those plants help support atmosphere on a newly colonized planet. But they're also hallucinogenic. They give off spores, they have poisonous sap, and they're parasitic. And massive. Colossal, if you will. Alright. Love it. So far, so good. Okay, let's continue. What is your greatest fear? What is your greatest fear? Mine's parasitic plants. Greatest fear. The dark, especially in space. I hear it's the darkest dark. The darkness of space. Yeah. I mean, it's unending, isn't it? It's worth being scared of, for sure. What motivates you the most? 3. Seeking knowledge and understanding of new worlds. Everyone should feel that way. Seeking knowledge. Note to self. Sharpen pencil before making a video. Dead air time. Seeking knowledge. Okay. Next question. How do you deal with life on the move? We'll get to play at some point, but all of this is play. But we'll get to, trauma. How do you deal with life on the move? 5. Find solace in a personal hobby or craft. Hobbies are good. If only I could think of one. Find solace in personal hobbies. What type of people do you get along with best? 7. Loyal and trustworthy individuals and close-knit colonies. Yeah. I mean, I could totally see that. You want to build up that rapport, and they know everything about you, you know everything about them. There's no surprises.